My name is Robert Engel. I work for the City of Lansing Office of Financial Empowerment. In 2016, the Office of Financial Empowerment proposed a grant to the Capital Region Community Foundation for a project called Avoiding Common Pitfalls. Those pitfalls consisted of a couple different things. What we saw on the ground was reentry citizens, or those citizens returning from incarceration, oftentimes had child support arrearages that had continued to accrue while incarcerated. Sometimes those arrearages would be tens of thousands, sometimes upwards of 100,000 or more. What we would see is that when that individual came back into the population or into society, that debt was unmanageable. And it really didn't have to be a debt to begin with if the proper steps had been followed before incarceration.
Hi, I'm Erin Frisch. I'm the director of the Michigan Child Support Program with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. We've found over time that many child support payers have accumulated a lot of child support debt. And what we have found is sometimes that debt can be overwhelming. When it's overwhelming, folks tend to shy away from participating in the program and really supporting their children with what they can do now and today.
By stopping their support when they become incarcerated, they're not incurring this large debt that they can't ever see the light of day when they get out, and then they're overwhelmed, and then they don't want to communicate with us. They don't want to report where they work. They just want to run.
One of the things we wanted to address was making sure that once an individual is sentenced, that we can get their child support stopped to avoid that buildup of debt.
The goal of the child support program is really to get reliable, consistent payments for children and families. So recognizing that if there isn't income coming into a child support payer's life, there really is no real way that they can support their family during that time. What we have found over time is that when we require child support payments to be made at a time when there really isn't reliable income, it only sets the family up for a default later. So by recognizing the situation that the family is in when they're in it, stopping that child support order for the time of incarceration, we find that we're set up better when folks re-enter society at the other side to really get re-engaged with their family, re-engaged with the child support program, because they feel like they've been treated fairly and they understand that they do have a responsibility to their child and want to meet that responsibility. They're not trying to run away anymore from the program.
My name is Shauna Dunnings. I'm the Ingham County Circuit Court Administrator, and I have been in this position for 4 years. The importance of reducing the amount of child support owed is to provide the payer with the feeling that they will be able to provide for their family. If we have debt added onto that payer's obligation so high that they can't pay it, they feel a sense of hopelessness. So being able to reduce or eliminate support during the incarceration reduces their exposure to a debt load that gives them a sense of inability to ever get out from under it.
What brought me into the Financial Power Center is the problem I was having with a friend of the court, so far as having warrants and not being able to get my ID and my license. When I came in, I didn't know what to expect. But after my worker, Robert, told me to bring in all my paperwork, and I brought it to him, and he started the case, it was very simple and easy. First thing they did was get over $26,000 taken off my child support, which was greatly needed. Then he even got the warrant off of me, which I really needed. Now I can go get my license, and I don't have to worry about being pulled over and stopped and going to jail. So that helped me tremendously.
I'm Brenda Knopf. I'm the casework supervisor at the Ingham County Front of the Court. I oversee the enforcement division. I do see benefits of this program to our organization by the non-custodial parents are contacting us more, and we're working with them, and it's helping reduce show cause enforcement hearings and issue warrants, and there's just more collaboration with our office because they know we're working with them, not against them.
My name is Melanie Kaskanen, and I'm a parole agent at Ingham County Parole Office. One of the issues when a parolee is issued a friend of court warrant with the parole office is tracking of the offender. Sometimes if there's a warrant outside of Ingham County, then they get moved around to different jails, and it costs overhead to incarcerate a parolee for the jail and the county. If we can get rid of the warrant before it becomes where they get arrested, then everybody wins.
It really helps when everybody works together. People seem to think we have this one big system and all this information is in it and everybody has access to it, and there isn't one big system. We all have to communicate with each other and pass along information. And so by having, this program, that's really helped a lot, define who does what, and then it spreads it out and doesn't make it so overwhelming to individuals, because you still have other duties that you have to do as well.
Another subject that we addressed was identity theft. We wanted to take steps to ensure that an individual's identity would be secure while incarcerated, and that would mean, most likely, with all three bureaus, a credit freeze. The credit freeze would inhibit individuals from opening new lines of credit using that incarcerated individual's social security number.
I didn't expect to ever be able to meet anybody in my life that would just willingly help me, and take their time, and they pushed and pushed and pushed. And not only did they help with my friend of the court stuff, but they actually helped with stuff that was on my credit that I didn't know that was there, that they found out that was there. They were calling me to have me come meet with them and sit down with them and go over everything that I didn't know anything about. They did the homework, and I didn't have to.
We are tapping into their intrinsic motivation. We're tapping into what matters to them. We're having them engage back into the community. So in other words, as we say, what's your budget? What kind of budget do you have? Or as we say, you have a child support case. Okay, let's help you get involved. Let's partner with Dads Matters with the Ingham County Friend of the Court, Ingham County, Health Department. As we collaborate with more community organizations, we are connecting that offender to the community again, and having them re-engage and having them feel like a person, having them feel involved with their family and with the community.
The third problem that we saw was with that child support debt, when an individual returned to society, they would not want to find a job and certainly not want a bank account, because they knew that their wages would be garnished usually up to 50% of their paycheck. That kind of setup does not lead to success. If we have an individual that manages to find a job that will look past a criminal record, when they get that first check for their 2 weeks or a week, and half of it is immediately taken, that really kind of makes the motivation go out the window. Because of that problem, we would see individuals that would run from employment or run from friend of the court to avoid that. They would work 2 weeks and lose half their check. It would really take away their motivation to be successful.
I was in major debt. I wasn't able to pay my bills. They were taking half of my check, every check, because I was so far behind. I was paying a little over $1,200 a month. Now I'm paying $5 something a month. Because of this project, my visitations have been more often. I'm getting them more because I can afford to be able to have food in the home and buy them clothes when they are visiting.
We want to look at making the proper adjustments to their child support order based on their real life situation, what's occurring in their life right now. So if we have a returning citizen that's coming out and he had been accruing child support while he was incarcerated, he has a amount of debt, he could be facing a warrant. We're setting up systems in place where these guys or gals are coming out with jobs.
Our original goal was to request at least 100 modifications to child support orders, to have 80 of those be successful, and then to have a total of at least 30 or more credit freezes, safe accounts for funds, and counseling sessions for reentry citizens to really kind of set them up to be successful financially and otherwise. Because we took a look at how much child support did these guys pay 6 months before they went in, right, and how much they paid 6 months post-release after working with us. For all of our reentry guys, the total of their child support paid 6 months prior to incarceration was less than $2,000. It's over 20 grand right now, post-incarceration. I just got those numbers and I was like, what?
That is crazy, yeah.
This project is a benefit to the Ingham County Circuit Court and to the Friend of the Court specifically because it helps us establish goodwill in the community. It shows the community, the payers of support, the recipients of support, that we do care, that we want to be able to provide services to the families, and this program allows us to do that.
One of the many benefits that the City of Lansing has now is a financial empowerment group, which many people aren't aware of, but we have been lucky to tap into that resource at the Ingham Parole Office. We use real-life budgeting, we do credit checks, we help individuals with taxes, we help them with financial counseling, we've been able to help them gain bank accounts at low interest, and now we've been able to help them with Friend of Court.
It's been a wonderful experience working with the Office of Financial Empowerment on this project. Everybody's pleasant to work with, everybody's striving towards the same goal of helping these individuals get back on track with life after they've had a setback, and trying to get them to be independent and, be able to make it on their own and still survive, pay their bills, see their children.
I just add, from the Office of Child Support's perspective, this has been an incredible opportunity to really work with a population that we don't get an opportunity to work with well today. We have learned a lot about who should engage, when, where, how. We've also appreciated that most of the time, incarcerated individuals really do want to support their families. And so making it as easy for them as possible to work with our office to get to those reliable, consistent support for families makes all the difference.
Getting together, communicating with each other, meeting quarterly with updates, but you have to have the willingness to share information that the public probably thinks we already share, but we really don't. If we're looking at what matters to the Friend of the Court, what's their goal outcomes? If we're looking at what matters to Michigan Department of Corrections, what's our goal outcome? If it's to have this returning citizen come out and be employed and connected to their family and taking care of their family, we have the same goal. So why shouldn't we partner together? Why shouldn't we communicate and share information?
A project like this cannot be a success without some great partnerships. The State of Michigan Office of Child Support, our local Friend of the Court offices, and then our local parole office have been integral parts of this whole project. It could not have happened without everybody meshing and working together so well.
I would encourage other counties to look at their community partners, find out what resources are available, see if there's an Office of Economic Empowerment in their area, and if there isn't, talk to their city about what they can do to be able to establish partnerships with community partners to provide this service.
I would definitely recommend to the other agencies, parole offices and probation offices in the state of Michigan to work with a financial empower group or the Friend of Court to set up that easy communication to rectify some of the warrants and costs that they have.
What I would recommend for anyone who wants to replicate this project is to discuss your goals, discuss what you want as your goal outcome. If it's an employed returning citizen that is contributing to their family, then streamline a process that sets him up for that, sets him or her up for that. I feel like that's what we did. We looked at all of our goals. All of our goal outcomes were for this person to be employed and connected with their family, not just financially contributing, but wholly connected with their family.
When it comes to trying to replicate something like this, we hope that other organizations in other cities will look at what we've done, see the results of our work, see how everyone was able to work together so well, and then think about copying that. Think about trying to make something like this happen in your town, because it makes a difference.